that can function very well. We have guys who run 5 flat 40s. You probably wouldn't believe that. I was talking to some of the guys outside. We have guys who aren't very fast, but they're still playing in the league. And every year, I'm going to get a rookie who's 6'2" and 215 pounds, and he runs a 40 and 4.3, and he can jump over tall buildings. And I'll end up cutting the guy because he can look good in practice, but as soon as the game starts, he's standing still like a statue because he doesn't know where the ball's going, doesn't know if he should be playing run or pass. So, as I say, I believe this is the most important element in really playing good defense in the secondary. Difference between being a good athlete and then being a good player. The good players can get the jump on the ball. There's a lot of guys who can play well on the special teams for you. You can put them in certain situations, but they really have a problem, and that is because they don't know what to read, they don't know how to read, and they're not anticipating what's going to happen. This can be developed. Okay? As coaches, we got to help people and help players improve. That's what it's all about. And I think by helping a player learn how to read, by showing him what to look for and what's important, you can help that guy develop. Give him a chance to execute, give him a chance to show the skills that he's got. There are some guys who are just natural readers. You ask them, hey, how did you know that was a run? How did you know the ball was going there? And they say, well, I just felt it, or I saw it, or they're not sure what they know. And that you'd love to get players like that, but for the most part, it's a learned skill. And it can be drilled, it can be taught, and you can really help guys get better at it. Point number 2, I want to get my job done. I'm a run defender or a pass defender. What do I need to know? Okay. First of all, I've got to know my assignment in the defense. All defenses on any level that you have, you can break them down into run assignments and pass responsibilities. Okay? And the guy has to know, if it's a run, this is what I have to do. If it's a pass, this is my coverage area, or this is my rush lane, or this is what I have to do. So basically, he has got to know his assignment, and then he's got to get into the appropriate mode very quickly. As soon as the ball snaps, he's got to figure out if it's run, then I do this. If it's pass, I get into my pass coverage. Second thing he's got to do to be able to execute is he's got to be able to align properly to carry out his assignment. He's got to have confidence that I can get in one alignment, I can execute my run responsibility, and I can execute my pass responsibility if it's pass. You can help your guys in that regard, because I don't care how good, how aggressive a guy is, if he doesn't have confidence that he can do both, he's going to either hesitate in his read and his reaction, or he's going to guess. Okay? If you put him so deep that he can't get to his run assignment, okay, if it is run, then he's going to end up guessing. He's going to try to get there a little quicker. Okay? And by the same token, if he's up tight to the line of scrimmage, but he's got a deep responsibility, and he's worried about that all the time in the back of his mind, he's going to end up being hesitant to support the run, even when he sees his run and pass keys. So alignment is essential too. And then the third point, you've got to have keys that'll let the guys react quickly. I want to focus in on this particular thing. When I see this happening, then I can go. What indicators do I have that let me be right a high percentage of the time and do it very quickly? You know, if you just watch the ball, for instance, eventually you're going to be able to tell if it's run or pass. Because, you know, eventually you'll see that the guy's got the ball and he's running with it, but by that time it may be too late to help the defense at all. So we want to give them some keys that'll let them be right in a high percentage of the time, but they'll be right in a quick fashion where they'll be able to help the defense. So having said all that and having set up the scenario, what are the individual techniques that I'm going to teach my guys in terms of supporting the run, reading the run, or getting into a pass coverage? First of all, we talked about assignments. What's my responsibility? What's my pass coverage? Every defense that we have has 3 elements involved in it in terms of individual techniques for run support. We have a primary support man, we've got a cutback man or a fill man, and we've got a secondary support man. And then the fourth element in D is what I call a bonus filler. Anytime we've got a free safety who's in the middle of the field, he's just free to play the middle of the field, I want him to be the bonus guy in terms of being able to show up in the running game when he sees it. Okay. Primary support man always plays run first. Okay. He's got to be in position to react and force very quickly. So when I put that together, my coverage together, I think about all the situations I can be in. If I'm going to make a guy primary support, he's got to be able to play run first and pass second. The cutback or the fill man, he's playing run or pass, but he's responsible for that inside area between the primary support man and the inside lineman. Okay, he usually doesn't have to go as far as the primary support man, so most of the time we try to make that guy a linebacker in our coverages. And then the secondary support man is a guy who's playing pass. He's taking care of all play action passes, all halfback passes. He's playing pass first, and he's going to help on the run if the blocking scheme dictates. So we've got those elements in all our coverages. The players have to know on this particular coverage, I am the primary support man. On this particular coverage, I'm the secondary support man. They may change assignments. The same guy's not always supporting, but he's got to know what his job is on that particular defense. Okay? So now, just going down, we're going to get into them individually. Okay? Primary support man. If I am primary, I've got to know that. My job is to turn the plays in quickly so the pursuit can cut him down from behind, or I make the guy belly so deep that we run him down before he can turn upfield and get down the sideline. My reaction must be immediate, okay? And I can't stress that enough. I've got to be able to give the guy a key that he can come right now and without delay, because if I get any delay, then the hole is going to be stretched too big, and I've got a chance for a seam or a big gain. I've got to know that I'm the primary guy, that I'm the most important guy in outside run defense, okay? Primary support always takes precedence over anything else that's going on. And you'll see in a couple of instances as I go on with this that that's going to really be important. Okay? Even when I'm covering a guy man-to-man, if I'm the primary support man, that's got to take precedence, and I got to be able to hit run first. Okay? That's why I don't believe if you're going to be sound that you can ever have a guy covering the tight end man-to-man without any help and still be the primary support man, because you're putting him in an awkward position where he's got to make decisions whether the tight end's blocking, whether the tight end's trying to run across the field. That's going to slow him down and really lead to big gains. Okay. And then we talk about alignment too in point C. He's got a line in a position to support, but he's also got to be in position to execute his coverage. So I'd like to be, if I'm the primary support man, I'd like to be right on the line of scrimmage outside the tight end, so I can really squeeze the runs quick, but sometimes because of coverage, I might have to be someplace else, and again, that's why I've got to make sure that I'm a good reader. Okay, then we get to the keys. Okay, and this is really the important thing. This is what I want to really talk about. What can I look at? Okay, it's going to tell me whether it's run or pass as quickly as possible. That is the important thing. And I like to really stress seeing the whole picture. Okay? I really, and I've been to professional camps where I've coached guys that have been in the pros that have said, well, my key on this is the tight end, you know, and if I see the tight end, I'm going to be in good shape. I don't believe you can do that, okay? Because if I'm sitting here as a defensive man, say I'm a strong safety here, and here's the tight end, and I've got a backfield set like this, no matter what it is, there is no way in the world, if I'm sitting just like this, and I'm that strong safety, that I can tell if that's run or pass. That if I just see the tight end, I have no clue. Even if the linebacker's here, it looks like the tight end may be blocking him. If I don't see what the rest of these guys are doing, it doesn't help me at all. And that's why I really think it's important, no matter what level you're on, to really stress to those guys that we don't want to have tunnel vision. Okay, we don't want to get zeroed in on just one guy. We want to see the whole picture, okay, and take our account from there. It may be very simple to say, well, just see this guy, see the quarterback on the line or off the line, just see the tight end, but it's really tough to be right fast enough if you just see one thing. Don't have tunnel vision. Don't focus in on one man. The more information I can gather, the more I can see, the more chance I have to be right. Okay? Have an idea of formations. This is important too, because sometimes formations can tell you what can possibly happen, okay? And you want your guys to be aware of situations of who can get to them and who can't get to them. For instance, again, if I'm sitting here as a strong safety and we've got a standard 34 defense, okay, and I know this, if there's only one back in the backfield, now I shouldn't say I know this because you guys get a lot of options and things that we don't get, but basically on my level, I can tell this guy, there's only one back in the backfield. Unless someone pulls, no, they can't run the ball towards you because there's no one to block you. They hand the ball off. Someone has to pull here to block you, or a wide receiver has to come in and get you. So if you're sitting there in a one-back set, and this guy can't block you because of his alignment and no one pulls, you can know right away that there's not going to be a run your way because they're not going to design a play that doesn't account to block you. Okay? There are some places, even in the pros, you think it wouldn't happen, but San Diego Chargers, we know going into the game that their quarterback is right-handed, and we've watched 8 films on him, and all their play-action passes start this way to the defensive left so that the quarterback can fake with his left hand, keep the ball in his right hand. We've watched 8 games, and we know that whenever he starts that way, the ball's handed off. Now, that's a big advantage to this guy. Right now, he can come because any action that starts that way is going to be a run when we play those guys. So there are things by formations and scouting reports that you can give your guys keys on, having an idea of what can happen to them, okay? Unfortunately, those kind of teams don't last very long in the league, and you can't rely on that. So you have to really have a system where you can key in and react to what you see without knowing before the ball snaps, okay? And that leads me to point number 3 up here, which is whatever the keys you give the guys, the most important thing is see what you're supposed to see. See what the coach wants you to see. And invariably, when we have guys and we look at the film on Monday and a guy will get a misread, I'll ask him, what did you see? And he'll just about all the time will tell me, well, I got distracted, I was looking at this, or someone went in motion, I took my eyes off what I was supposed to see, or I put my eyes in the backfield and I was looking at the ball. You hear a lot of different reasons, but for the most part, when they get misreads, it's because they didn't see what they were supposed to see. Don't get distracted by different things that the offense is going to try to throw up there to fool you, okay? See your key and react accordingly. Now, what are those specific keys? Keep them constant as much as possible. The more you can work on keying the same thing, the better off you're going to be. We have some very specific keys for our guys that work very well that are going to make them be right a high percentage of the time, and we try not to change them by opponent. But if you get a situation where you got a 100% key or a high key on an opponent, go ahead and change it for that week because you can definitely take advantage of some things. But by and large, you want to stay with the same thing so the guys get work week after week after week keying the same thing. What I like to talk about to the tight end side is what I call a triangle, okay? And again, going back to what we said, seeing as much as you can see, I refer to the triangle as looking through the tight end, okay, to the backside guard, through the backs to the quarterback. Okay. And I want my guys to see that whole area. Okay. Now, you can say that sounds complicated, and you can say, well, I've got maybe a high school sophomore, or, you know, and I don't think I can teach him that. It's a little too complicated. I don't think it is. Obviously, you have to crawl before you can walk, but in any situation, the more you can see and the more you can be efficient, the better off you're going to be. My little girl's 7 years old, and she's taking music lessons right now. And I know any of you that are familiar with music, you got a line up here and a line here, and you play one line with your left hand and one line with your right hand. Well, I look at that, and I can only see one note at a time, but she's been trained to see the top line and the bottom line and play them with either hand. And it's just, that's the way she learned it, you know. And I think you can take guys the same way. You can take them here and say, well, we only want to see this guy. And if he blocks, that's going to be run 50% of the time. If he releases, it's going to be pass. Problem you have is he may be assigned to block the middle linebacker, and he may be coming in here. So if I just see him, it looks like maybe he's releasing for pass. But eventually he comes in and blocks here. Or he may be trying to release for pass, but our linebacker's jamming him and holding him up, and it maybe looks like he's blocking, so I'm not sure. So because I'm not sure, I end up hesitating. So I've given this guy a key, and it's an easy one, and he can see it, but it's not going to make him quick enough, and it's not going to make him right. I think I'd be better off by saying we can look at a little bit more than that, see the whole thing, and look at the combinations, and be a little bit more efficient, okay? So if I talk about my triangle, seeing it all, seeing it in combination, there are a few things now that I can look for as I'm looking at this triangle, okay? Do I see the tight end firing off and line setting up or not firing off? Do I see some separation in the tight end and the line, okay? Generally, if I get separation, I get the tight end coming off, and the line not coming off, that's generally going to be pass, okay? If I see tight end coming off, line coming off, and we're all coming off together, coming downfield, that's generally going to be run for me, okay? I've got to put that in combination now with the backs, okay? Do I get the flow coming towards me, okay? If I get the flow of the backs coming towards me, line coming off right now, okay, that tells me something. I may get flow of the backs away from me, which might be run, but it's not going to attack me right away. I can be a little slower. Do I get anybody pulling? Is there a guard pulling from my side, backside guard pulling? Play that we get a lot now, backside guard and tackle pulling. You may get the backs even starting this way a little bit to try to give you a misread, but I get these two people pulling 99% of the time. I get those two pulling, it's going to end up being run this way. So I've gone from a specific thing to a combination of things, seeing the whole picture, okay? Seeing it as much as I can, the tight end and line, whether they're together or there's separation, backfield action, whether it's flow to, flow away, or split flow, any lineman pulling in my direction, okay? And that's the things that I'm looking for, and that's what I'm going to try to train the guys to see, and by opening up my field to a triangle, seeing the whole picture. And then they'll start to distinguish when things look the same, when things look a little strange. People that try to have a run and then a play action pass off the same action, very seldom does it look exactly the same, and we can start to distinguish that, okay? If there's no tight end, the tight end's flexed out, or he's on the opposite side of the field, then it's a little easier. I can look at the offensive tackle to the backs. There's no eligible receiver, so I don't have to worry about the tight end coming downfield or not. If the tight end's not there, then it's pretty easy. I've still got the same triangle, okay, that I'm looking at, but now my action is going to be this way with backfield flow to me, or usually the end man's going to set up and he's going to show me pass right away. Now, again, important point here, last point. If I'm the primary support man, okay, and I get a run read, I've got to know in my mind that I've got to hit it, and I tell my guys, you're never wrong. If you're the primary support man and you get a run read, you got to come as quick as possible, and I will never criticize you for being across the line of scrimmage if it ends up being a pass. However, now that's different than saying if you think it's run, you're never wrong, okay? There's a difference. I'm telling the guy, you got to read your keys, and if your keys, if these things that we talked about show run and you hit it, you are right, and the rest of the coverage will take care of itself. You go ahead and support the run. That's the confidence that that guy's got to have in the defense to be an effective run defender. Okay, the next element, the cutback man. The cutback man is usually, in our defense, is a linebacker, okay? And he is lined up usually on the tight end, okay? We've got a defensive back normally who's outside, either a corner or safety, who's responsible for the force. He's going to control that area between the defensive linemen who are pursuing and the support man who's squeezing that area. Again, he has to see what he needs to see again. And the most important thing for him to see is that tight end, okay, who's in position to block him, okay? Because that's the first guy that can get to him. If I've got a support man there, he's going to end up sealing this off. I've got to handle this area. This is the first guy, the guy who's lined up on me that can block me first, so I've got to see him. Okay? And then a few questions will come to mind based on that. Is he blocking me? If he's firing off blocking me, then I've got to square up on him, control him, and end up being able to take either side, but he's the guy that I've got to control and hold my area. Okay? What if he's not blocking me? Okay? He can be doing a couple of things. If he's blocking down on someone, now I've got to figure out who is the next man who can block me. Okay? And that next man is going to come from inside. So as soon as he blocks down, I've got to check and look inside. Okay? If someone's pulling, any lineman is pulling, then he becomes potentially the next guy that can block me. If I get someone pulling flat, and again, the play that we're getting from everybody in the league now is this off guard trying to pull, and the off tackle, it's the Redskins counter gap, trying to turn up through and kick out. Well, here comes the next guy that can block me. And I've got to now squeeze down, get to him, and control him as quick as I can. Okay? If the next guy that is coming inside is pulling deep, either a guard or a tackle, anybody who's pulling deep, then I've got a chance for the back to be the person that can block me, and I've got to end up looking to the back. But if I just follow my rules, look inside, anybody pulling shallow, I've got to attack them. If there's no one pulling at all or no one pulling shallow, people pulling deep, then I'm going to work my vision back to the outside because it's probably a back who's coming to get me, okay? If the tight end's releasing, he's not blocking me, he's not blocking down. If he's trying to release, one of two things can happen. Either it can be a pass, and then I want to get into my pass coverage, or he can be releasing to end up blocking the support man. Then again, my next threat is going to be from the inside. So if the tight end's releasing, I've got to look back inside the same way that I did if he blocked down. Okay? If there's no tight end, again, my key now goes to the end man on the line of scrimmage, the offensive tackle to the backs. I don't have to worry about a tight end blocking me right now. If there's no tight end, I key it just like the support man. If I'm the linebacker here, I would then take my triangle to the offensive tackle, to the backs. Tackle fires off, backfield flow my way, I'm going to attack because that's going to be run. Tackle sets up, I'm going to get into my pass mode. Okay, the secondary support man is that corner or safety man who is responsible for all play action passes. He's responsible for halfback passes. He is a player who is playing pass first. Okay, his alignment, again, is important. He's got to put himself in position to cover the widest receiver on his side of the field if that guy releases. Okay? He's got to, again, see what he needs to see. And in his case, what he needs to see is the wide receiver. Okay? Just as an example, we'll say we've got safety force on. Okay. So our strong safety is the force man. Our corner would now be the secondary support man. Our linebacker would be the cutback man. Okay. The guy that he has to see is that wide receiver. He is playing pass first because this element of the defense should be able to handle all running plays as long as that guy releases. If he releases, the secondary support man has to cover him. So that's the guy he needs to see. If he ends up sticking his eyes in the backfield and seeing this and breaking down because he thinks it's a run, now they hand it off, this guy stalks him and goes, you got yourself a touchdown. So we tell him, hey, this is your key, that's the guy you need to see. The only time you need to get involved in run is if that wide receiver actually blocks our support man. Now if he blocks, they've brought one more element into the running game than we have people. Now I've got to come and replace him. Okay. Now it's the support man's job. He's got to make it easy for the corner here. If he sits here, if he gets run action toward him, tight end blocking, action coming, if he sits here, then it makes it tough here because the wide receiver now can come at this angle, okay, and block him, and the corner really has to wait because he's got to make sure that guy makes contact, okay? And we tell our people, if he can come upfield and block you, this ball is going to get outside, and we can't blame this guy. He's going to be there late to make a tackle. It's going to be an 8 or 10 yard gain because he can't tell if he's actually blocking and cracking on him or if he's going to fake it and come upfield and they throw the halfback pass. We tell this guy his responsibility is when he reads it to react immediately so that if this receiver is going to block him, he has to come flat in that manner. Now that's an easy read for the corner. Now he can come and replace. But this secondary support man cannot see and clue the same things that the primary support man does. Otherwise, he's going to get in trouble. He's going to get his nose in there when he doesn't belong and end up giving up a big play. Okay? So for the secondary support man, see what he needs to see, the wide receiver all the way. Is he blocking the primary support man? If he does, then I've got to replace him. If he's releasing, I've got to cover him until the ball crosses the line of scrimmage. Okay, the fourth element that you don't always have, but I like to have it if I'm playing a running team, is I like to have that free safety in the middle of the field. The middle third free safety is what I call the bonus defender. Okay? He is usually not accounted for in any blocking schemes. Okay, most of your blocking is going to take care of the outside people and the linebackers, so that guy can be a big tackler. Every place I've ever been, the free safety has been either the first, second, or third leading tackler on the team because we expect him to be free and be unblocked, and we're going to funnel everything back into him. Okay? We'd like him to be there as a cleanup tackler to make hits at 2 or 3 yards, but we'd also obviously like not to get fooled and have him flying up to the line of scrimmage and give up a play-action bomb or a post. Okay? It is a lot tougher now to do because teams are having a lot of one-man routes now in our league. Kansas City is very good at it, where I just came from. Cincinnati really started it a couple of years ago, where they'll end up many times getting 2 tight ends and 2 backs in here and really just taking a shot, really giving good hard play action, have everybody blocking, and just end up making this a one-man route, trying to hit that, and it really slows your safety down, or you end up giving up a big play down the middle, which you don't want to give up. So it has made it much tougher to get that safety involved, but we can still do it if he follows his reads, okay? And his keys now, his triangle, what we tell him to look for are the 2 uncovered linemen, okay? And in most situations, we're involved with a 3-4. His triangle is going to be the 2 guards, uncovered linemen to the flow of the backs. Okay? And he's got a few things that he has to see that'll tell him very, very quickly whether it's run or pass or not. Okay? If either the uncovered linemen are downfield, for us, it's run. Okay? Now, it's a little different. I know in college they have the screens that they can throw with the line downfield. For us, it's fairly easy. If the guards are ever out on the linebackers up the field, it's run. So as he's sitting here and he's looking through this triangle, if he gets that type of action, then he's coming right now inside out to the ball because he knows it's run. Okay? If he gets both guys pulling to the flow of the backs, again, for us, that is probably 99% run. We're going to let him come on that, again, inside out and fill to the ball. Okay? If he gets neither guard downfield, and this is how we're getting a lot of blocking schemes now, where the guard will block the defensive end, this guard will come on the nose man, the center will hit, and they'll come off late and really make it tough. But in that situation, if nobody's coming downfield, then he's got to play pass first. It might be a run, but he's got to play pass first because we don't want to give up the one-man play action. And the other thing that we get a lot is if we get guards pulling away from the backfield flow. You get the backfield flow going left and people pulling to the right, then that for us is a bootleg read. It may be run, but we see it very seldom. He's going to play pass on that. And we have had our safeties be able to look at that, that triangle of uncovered linemen through to the flow of the backs, and we've had free safeties able to average 100 tackles a year because they're up in the running lane and no one's really blocking them. Okay. Some drills and aids for the very best thing that we've got is end zone film, and I know most high schools and colleges, you aren't equipped to get that. We spend a lot of time studying end zone film where we've got the offense coming right at us and the defensive backs can see the line play. They can know what to anticipate that particular week. Short of that, when you don't have that technology, you've got to drill it in a couple of different ways. When I'm by myself during the season, I can do it with 10 guys, and I can really get some good work out of it by just using 2 people on defense. I can use my other 8 players here and run it off cards. And I can give them different run, pass, reads, take probably the 6 or 8 basic plays that I'm going to see, and I can just simulate the looks and have it off the cards, having these guys do it on air, however we're going to do it. You know, lead back, for example, and then I can do the same thing and have the line show pass, go play action pass and back to the flat. And these guys end up keying in on this, and I can do that with an individual period with just my 10 guys that I have as defensive backs. In training camp, we do this drill a lot, and we'll incorporate the linebackers. The linebackers and secondary will get together. We'll still do it off cards, but we'll put the 2 middle backers in here. We'll use the extra guys, and we'll get 2 groups going. We'll get 2 offenses, and we have 1 coach running the cards, and we can get it rapid fire and go back to back. So in a 10-minute period, we might be able to get 18, 19 plays run off, and we can just alternate these 4 guys. But this is probably the best way to simulate it and get it going quickly and really coach the guys on what they're supposed to see. Okay? And then number 3, I would say take advantage of every opportunity in practice. Okay, when you run your team plays defensively, what I have always done, and we can do this because we film every practice, so we can make the corrections afterwards, but I'll have my starting group that's in there on defense, and the rest of us will be back here. And I'm back here. I'll have the safeties with me. I'll have the corners out here at their position, the backup guys, and I know the defense. I've got my script of what that play is going to be, and we'll use our hand signals to let these guys here know what the defense is, but then they can watch it from the starter's perspective so that they can end up keying, they can step through, simulate, okay, their responsibility, but they can get the vision and the look just like the starter is. So if we got 20 plays and I've got 2 corners here and 2 corners here, they all see all 20 plays. Okay, even though they may not be in there, they may only be in there for 10 and 10, but you can still get the benefit of practicing his reads. The safeties that aren't in the game still can end up getting the benefit of practicing their reads, and then if there's a point that I want to make, I'll call them all together. But basically, I want these guys to be able to see exactly what's happening and see every play and take advantage of every situation rather than just half the time. This is just quickly the keys that we use. I've got a videotape that'll be able to, I think, highlight a lot of what I've said. But our defensive back here at the left, right at the 15-yard line, he's the primary support man. He's looking at that whole triangle we talked about. Okay, he sees the tight end start to come down, left guard and left tackle pull instantaneously. He's got to hit it. He's on one step. You can see Thomas Everett, the free safety, at the middle. He's in the middle of the field. He's got to read. Two guards pulling with the flow of the backs. He's coming instantaneously. He's the guy that should be unblocked. But that is how quick we want these guys hitting it. Okay. Okay, another situation, we're going to get motion here. Donnie Shell is a strong safety at the top. Again, Everett's the middle of the field defender. Okay. This is a little bit tougher. Okay, but again, what Donnie is looking at the top, he's got the tight end and the right tackle, okay, together, coming off together, backfield flow his way, so he's got to attack this. Thomas is in the middle of the field. He's looking at the two guards. Sees the offensive left guard downfield on the linebacker, one guard downfield, he can come right now. And again, most of the time he's going to be unblocked. Okay, again, another motion situation. Lead back blocking the support man. Again, I talked about confidence earlier. Donnie Shell down here at the bottom, number 31. He's going to end up on this. His pass responsibility is the deep outside 1/3. Okay. But this is a veteran guy who was a good reader, and he's able to be across the line of scrimmage even though he had outside 1/3 on pass because he had confidence in the keys that we gave him. Okay, same situation. Now you've got a lead back and you've got the left guard pulling, tight end and tackle. You can see their helmets coming off together. Okay. This is run read all the way as far as looking at the whole triangle, but really with awareness on the tight end and tackle. Shell is going to hit this, okay, take on the back and turn the ball inside. Linebacker is over the tight end. Again, the first guy he's got to see is that tight end. Okay. The tight end's blocking me, I've got to control him. Okay. And then the safety, good one-step read. Again, he should not be blocked. And he can fill inside out to the ball. Okay, going to the backside of a slot formation now. Tight end blocking down. Okay. Lead back's blocking the support man. Again, he's got the same reads. Sees two offensive linemen coming at him. He knows it's run. He's got to get up and force it inside. Linebacker who's over the tight end blocks down. Okay, he's not blocking me. I've got to look inside. First man that can block me now is the lineman pulling shallow. I've got to now control him. Safety man, you can see how quick he reads this, the free safety. And this was a game, I think, obviously we had to read that any lineman pulling was run because he is basically on a one-step read here. Okay, here's some blocks with the on guard blocking the support man. Okay, so we're going to get the on guard pulling, and Again, it's an easy read for the safety man. You can see the level of the helmets by the tight end and the right tackle, both firing off, floor of the backs coming. That whole triangle moving at the strong safety tells him he's got to support the run on this. Okay, same situation. Now, tight end's blocking down again. Right tackle tries to block the cutback man, the linebacker. He's got to get into him, control him with his hands. Safety's got to get up there and squeeze it, make the ball turn up inside quickly. The free safety should be unblocked to the ball. And that's how we like to have the free safety show up. But again, in all of these now, obviously these are the best ones. These are the good examples. But most of the time, we get our support man there quick enough so the ball carrier doesn't have a chance to take it wide and stretch the defense and then try to find a seam. Here's the same situation. Left offensive guard pulls. The whole triangle is moving forward and moving towards the support man. He comes right now. Here's a situation where he doesn't necessarily turn it in, but he makes the ball carrier go so deep that the pursuit has a chance to catch him. Strong side linebacker controlling the tight end, staying with him. Free safety, who's the bonus defender. And in just about all of these, we haven't really heard from the secondary support man, the right corner in this case. Okay. And what's happening, he is doing just what he's supposed to do. He's reading the wide receiver all the way. If the wide receiver starts upfield, he's got to be in position to cover him. Okay? And the selling point to him is, if the defense is executed properly, we don't need you. You can't get your nose in the backfield and start to come so we're vulnerable to a halfback pass. If you stick around for the second session, I'll show you how I get these strong safeties knocking these linemen down. Okay. Motion man, again, watch Donnie Shell here. The strong safety. You'll see a lot of people, they'll end up calling out crack, crack, and the strong safety will end up looking at the wide receiver who he thinks is going to block him. Don't get distracted by things that don't affect you. Okay, the first thing that support man's got to see is his triangle. If he ends up looking at the wide receiver, he's going to screw himself. He's not going to know whether it's run or pass until that guy either blocks him or passes him, and that's going to be too late. Keep your vision. You've heard crack, you know that guy's motioning in, but still the guys who are going to tell you are running pass or your triangle. Okay, here's the tight end blocking down. Action coming his way, he's got to start to support it. The linebacker now. See the difference on this play. Tight end's down, but the linemen are pulling deep. So he's got to get his vision now. The next guy who can block him is the back. So he now works out to the back. Okay. Now, here's the secondary support man, number 49, the left corner here. First time we've seen it. His guy comes in and actually blocks. Now he should be able to come and replace. Now and only now. He should end up getting in on it, and we're in pretty good shape. Middle safety should be a one-step read. I'd like to see him a little quicker than this, with both guards pulling. I would like to see him a little bit quicker, but he's not bad. We're going to get the same play run off motion now. Okay. Guards pulling deep for the support man. Again, we'll take it on across the line, squeeze it, and make the play. Okay, here is base blocking on the front side. with the off guard pulling. Okay. Again, we get a good read by the strong safety. He gets across the line, and this is what I've always sold to my support men. No matter who it is, if it's a big guy, 300-pound lineman, if you get a quick read and you can get to the big guys before they turn up field on you, then it doesn't matter how big they are. They're going sideways, you can end up destroying them. Okay, middle safety again. Okay, he sees the right guard down on the nose man, but the left guard's pulling. He gets a good one-step read. He should end up being unblocked. Okay, same scenario. Right guard down, left guard's pulling. Okay. Support man gets there fast enough, the back turns it up inside. He doesn't even have to take on the lead blocker, but go ahead and make the play. And the last situation we've got here is just a close wing situation. Now, this changes the primary support man a little bit, okay, because now he's in a situation like the cutback man, like the linebacker. They both have guys who can block them quickly. So you can't read inside. You've got to read the man over you first. In this case, he's got to destroy that wing back first before he can look inside. Anytime you've got a guy in position to block you quickly, you've got to key him first, destroy him. Now, the right corner, number 35, with the towel on, okay, he is actually reading that first receiver. As soon as his man blocks, he can come now. That is, in effect, the wide receiver. So he sees what he needs to see, his man blocks, he can come, and we should be in good shape. Okay, and again, there's our middle safety. See how we get this read, both guards pulling. Okay, he's able to take a one-step read and make the tackle at the line of scrimmage. The secondary support reads the first outside receiver. So in the last case, in this case now, he is reading the wing right here at the bottom of the screen. Okay, and if that guy were to release, he would have to cover him now. But as soon as he blocks, okay. And that is the same as a wide receiver coming in and cracking the strong safety. Okay, as soon as he blocks and makes contact, then he can come and what we call replace the support man. Okay, just that basically was just really a quick review of reads, keys, responsibilities for our run defense. Any questions that I can answer for you at all? Any questions in the last 5 minutes or so? Yes, sir.
When you roll the half, you got both safeties back, or both safeties reading the little triangle?
No. Okay. In that regard, question was when we play two deep zone. Okay. Okay, when we play two deep zone, now the corners are up, safeties are back, strong safety, free safety's got half the field here. Linebacker on this side is the cutback man, linebacker on that side is the cutback man. Primary support men are the two corners now. Okay, they are reading the triangle. Same way, no change as a strong safety did. If they get a run read, they've got to hit it. Okay, the safeties are reading, they're the secondary support man now on both sides. Okay? They read the wide receiver. Okay? If the wide receiver releases, they've got to come over and get in position to cover him. Okay? If the wide receiver ends up blocking the corner, okay, now they're going to plant, come, and they'll end up being the replace man. But the thing they can't do, and that's where sometimes the young guys will get confused. I'm the strong safety here, and I end up looking back inside when it's cover two, and I see run action start, and I start and my corner man starts, and we get a play action or a halfback pass, and no one's covering that guy. So, again, he just follows his rules. He knows on cover 2 he's the secondary support man, and his key is the wide receiver and the wide receiver only.
Where's your cutback man?
Cutback man on that is the linebacker, okay? He's the same as when it was a safety support. So he's keying the tight end blocks him, he's got to control it. Now when it's the corner, he's got a little wider lane to control, okay? The thing that we lose when we play cover 2, and we don't like to play it as much when we've got a great running team, is you lose this free safety as the bonus defender, the guy that you kept seeing come from inside out. Now he can't read that triangle now because he is the secondary support man on this side, and he's got to read the wide receiver, so you end up losing him. You have to do it just with the corner and the linebacker. So that's the negative of 2 deep against a good running team. Yes, sir. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Okay, guys, I really appreciate your attention. I hope I helped you a little bit. As I say, I'll be around most of the afternoon and evening, and if you have any things you want to ask specifically, be glad to help you out. Thanks for your attention.